Safest bet in Vegas right now is not whether I'm going to break one of these, it's how many. Because I already broke one. Hey, welcome back to Frank's Model Works. I'm Frank. This is my year in modeling. These are all of my completed builds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one missing, except for one. One of them is actually in New Jersey right now. It was given to my friend for his son for his 21st birthday. If you've been with the channel from the beginning, it's this car right here, the 2010 Mustang GT in splash paints Kona Blue. That was the first model that I had actually started the model before I started the channel, and that's where it all began. That one. Actually, the channel's been around for several years. I had almost 100 videos on it, but it was mostly just raw videos of me flying radio control planes with my maniac friends. If you get a chance, check them out. Some of them are pretty funny. Several crashes. Several. Just don't leave the volume off because the sound is really... I just... Right out of the memory card, onto the computer, up to the YouTubes. Check them out. Got nothing better to do. But this year, I got into this whole YouTube thing the same way I'm kind of leaving it, because I wanna put an end to the gatekeeping that's so prevalent in this community, and I wanna focus on the positivity of demonstrating solid techniques and using proven materials in order to achieve relatively good results. Are these the best models in the world? Nope, not even close. And I'm usually my own worst critic, so if you think I'm a good builder, I appreciate that, but you're never gonna convince me that that's the case. I look at these, and I am happy with what I see, don't get me wrong, but I focus on the flaws because I know where the flaws in every single one of these cars resides. And my eye immediately goes to them. Now, the age of the model will actually determine whether or not I remember where they are. So I did, if you remember, I technically... I'm taking this 1990 Mustang LX as a win for this year because it was mostly done last December. I did finish it last December, and I posted finished pics of it, but there was some things on the bottom that needed to be touched up and needed to be refinished because the front suspension, the aftermarket suspension that comes in the kit, it's as if the full-size car had an aftermarket front suspension, is fiddly. It's not fun to put together, and this one almost got orangutan punched. That's how bad it was. But we did manage to get it across the finish line. So I'm taking it as a win. You know, I got some... there's going to be pictures. I'm going to do a slideshow of all of these. But as far as the channel goes, built on the channel was that 2010 Mustang GT. Built before the channel started was this 90 LX and this 68 Bullitt Mustang. They were all featured builds on... Every one of these has had a featured build on the channel. And I gotta be honest, this has been probably... It hasn't been my most productive. There have been years where I've gotten 12 done. But considering the fact that I was trying to build a channel and getting models across the finish line, I don't think I did half bad. So if you think about it, what was finished during the production of the channel? So that would be all 5 of the Porsches. This would be the 6th one, this 1971 Mach 1 Mustang. And this would be the 1970 Boss 429 Mustang. I also completed the bodies for those 2 Chargers. The 69 Charger with the mod top on it. Do I have to say it? No, I'm not. You know, at this point, everybody will just make fun of you if you do that. If you make fun of me in the comments. and the 68 Charger. Those will continue in the new year. I hope to have them done. All of these, with the exception of 2, are going to be at NNL East this year. They will most likely be at Replicon, the local IPMS show. Maybe MosquitoCon. You never know. We'll see what we could do. Now that I got Frizzo and Dave Wood to see over and Al Mesky to see over in New Jersey, I'm more likely to go. I like those guys. I like hanging out with them. So, you know, maybe I get to Jersey more than I usually would. I think I've done fairly well for myself on the channel for the relatively short amount of time. I think I can't get over the amount of support and how well, you know, this has been received. I think the one thing that always kept me from doing this is I don't have a lot of confidence in myself. You know, I realize a lot of my humor is self-deprecating. You know, that comes from somewhere, but whatever. I can't tell you how much it means to me to have become a part of this community and made friends that I could tell I'm going to be friends with for the rest of my life. And I think that's really awesome. So I think that's one of the most positive things that's come out of this year. And this year, from a personal standpoint, has been quite challenging. I started off in February by going into atrial flutter, where one of the chambers of my heart was flopping around like a fluke on the deck of a fishing boat. Which is, you know, I mean, it's not like it was a tuna. Those things fight. But, you know, the best I can muster is a fluke. Yeah, you ever catch a fluke? It's like they nibble and they're like, all right, my life's over. And then they just ride the hook right up to the surface. They don't care. It's besides the point. So I started off in atrial flutter. I wound up having to have an ablation, which was frightening. It was probably one of the more frightening medical interventions I've had in my life. I had to wear a cardiac monitor for a month. And after the month, because I had fainted a couple of times before going into the hospital, and then time or two after the hospital, they decided to implant a monitor into my chest to monitor my heart. And from that, I found out that I was severely anemic, which required several intravenous infusions of iron to get me back into normal. And I think they've come to the conclusion that the anemia is what caused my AFib, my A-flutter. It can being iron poor can have detrimental effects on your cardiac health. So that's probably where we were with that. Then, good news medically, I had a colonoscopy and I was cleared. I was having to go for colonoscopies every 6 months for the past 2 years. I don't have to go again for another year. So that's good. For the one time. And I know Jason Klein and Bruce Scott and Mike Janis from Scale Model Outlaw, Klein Racing Design, and Bruce's Eclectic World are laughing right now when I talk about colonoscopy, because we had a rather lively conversation about this subject last week before the AMC livecast. I won't go into detail about it here, but if we ever meet in person, I'd be more than happy to tell you. Just ask me to tell you the story about it. We'll leave it at that. So after that, I had a problem with my hard drive that I save all of the files, all of my lead time that I take up before I release a video. And I lost several videos. They were just gone. So I ate up all that lead time. I had to take 2 weeks off during the summer of production, no production for the 2 weeks in the summer to catch up and get my files back, and not get my files back, but create new files. So that was a hiccup. Then August 6th of this year, people from New York generally eat apples that are grown fairly close to here. So my wife went to a place where the apples probably didn't come from very close to here. I ate one of the apples, and I went into anaphylactic shock. Yeah. Puffed up I look like a chameleon. It was like, went to the hospital in an ambulance, got 2 shots of epi in the ambulance and one when I got to the emergency room. That was fun. And then on August 16th, I'm at work, and I'm putting a ladder back on my truck, and all of a sudden I hear in my shoulder. Ow! What the hell was that? I popped the bicep tendon. So everybody's familiar with this story. So I had to take a 3-month hiatus because I was home from work on disability. And my employer does not want us engaging in commercial activity while we're out on leave, which I understand. So it was far from a vacation because I had to go to a physical therapy, and I was in a fair amount of pain. Believe it or not, I haven't slept well since the injury. I gotta be honest with you, I haven't had a good night's sleep ever since I got hurt. I can't sleep on my left side anymore. And that, after sleeping on that side for most of my life, it's hard to get used to sleeping any other way. So, I'm still dealing with that. I still have a significant amount of loss of range of motion and almost no strength in this arm whatsoever. My nickname where I work, when I worked in Brooklyn, was Ox, because I was strong, because I could pick up manhole covers by myself and throw them around. So to go from being known for being strong to, losing half of my upper body arm strength, it takes an adjustment. And I got 2 years left, so I got to do what I got to do for 2 years and hope it doesn't get worse. We'll see where we go from there. But enough about me. How about you? I want to thank each and every one of you, especially my regular viewers and the folks who always make sure they leave a comment. I can't tell you, and I'm the worst at this. I really am, because the way I view myself, I don't comment a lot on people's content because for whatever reason I don't feel I'm worthy to comment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see myself as somebody who deserves to be able to comment on somebody else's content, even though I love what I'm watching. And that's a thing I need to get over, and I do try to make as many comments as I can, but there's always like this thing inside of me that's saying, shut up, you sound like an idiot, you have no right to speak, that kind of thing. We work on it, kids. So I do want to thank all of you, because the feedback that I receive and the positive vibes, the wonderful energy from all of my regular viewers is what keeps me going. And if there's anybody who has a better feeling about the hobby because of something I might have put on the channel, then it makes it all worth it, because it is a lot of work. Between, you have to film, you have to build, you have to plan, you have to think what's useful to people, what's something that I can do that I could tell them, and then figure out a way to show it to them that it's useful to them. And that's difficult. I have my bachelor's degree is in communications, like television production and media analysis and criticism. So I have a modicum of things. Like, there's little secret things that I do that might not be obvious to most of you. I never lean back. I always lean forward, because if you lean back, it's like condescending. The camera is always looking down at me rather than me looking down at the camera. There's little things that I do that you might not notice, but things that I learned in college that I used to make this more welcoming and more comfortable, as if you're sitting next to me in my basement and I'm talking to you like my friend. That's the way the channel is constructed. That if it seems like, you know, like there's a comfortability in the videos, it's designed that way. I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to be able to feel, and the self-deprecating humor disarms me so that I'm vulnerable in showing you what I know. Get it? Does it make sense now? Because that is one of the best ways to get a message across. And the channel from the beginning has always had a message, and the message is every single bit of this is teachable. Every single bit of this is learnable. So if you're shown how to do it, then you can do everything that you've seen. Every single one of these, everybody who's watching has the ability. If they, you know, I understand some people might have disabilities that make that impossible. But if that's the case, then within your own mind, you can imagine yourself doing it, because the mind is a wonderful thing, and you can enjoy watching the creative process and the transfer, because none of this, I'm not talented. These are skills that I've learned throughout the years. These are the result of me being taught by other content creators. I am tremendously influenced by Plasmo, by Will Patterson, by Matt McDougall when I was in Planes and Armor. And on the model car side, I'm tremendously influenced by Tim Kalankowitz, Tim Boyd, Doug White, Bob Jernigan. I've been watching them my entire life. Write articles in the publications. And then through this channel, I've become friends with people literally all over the world as a result of this. And I've made real friends, like people who, if I see them, I'm going to throw my arms around them and hug them. And people that have gone out of their way, who were in a position to go out of their way and do something nice for me, like shout my channel off and get me off the ground. That was Raul at the Muscle Car Modeler. And then I was lucky enough that Matt from the Lucas C channel had me on his podcast. And then I had James Tester, James Duff, and Sean Svensson have me on the Automotive podcast. And I had Jason Klein and Mike and Bruce have me on the AMC livecast. People have gone out of their way to not only make me feel welcome, but also to promote me and to help me out. Jason Hanscom, I asked for help when I first came back to get back into the groove and gain the momentum. He shouted me out for weeks. And I can't tell you how happy I am to have made friends like that. I've made better friends with Dave Wood, and I got to meet Frank Frizzo. And as a community, we helped Frank feel better through what probably is what's one of the toughest times in his life. And I earned a friend, a guy that I really, truly admire, and can't wait to see him again. Because the look on his face, like he when he looks at me, he knows that I really do have his back. And I mean it when I say it. That's the type of community this is. So before I start crying like a big jerk, let me just show you some pictures and videos. And then we'll come back and I promise we'll sum up very quickly. Hold on. gonna do the thing with the head. So there you have it. It's actually intentional. So you know, there you have it. That's my year in modeling, but it's not. The story of my year of 2024 includes you, and the best gift that I got in 2024 wasn't the 3D printer. It was you. It was the people watching this channel. I get to have you as part of my life. If I'm ever gonna go somewhere, I'm gonna let you know I'm on my way. And if you ever see me, walk up and say hello. I'd be honored to meet you. To wit, next week, from January 5th to the 12th, we're going down to pay our respects to the mouse down in Orlando. Whole family's going, which is great. So we'll be down there. You won't see as much content from me because, I need a vacation. Even though I was off from work for 3 months, it was a vacation. Physical therapy's hard. Leave me alone. So, with that in mind, I want to thank you so much for being a part of this channel. I look forward to the future, and I have big things in store. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff together. And hopefully, if you pick something up along the way, then you're making it all worth it. At the end of the day, as always, I got Frizzo's back. I appreciate your support. And until we speak again, my friends, take care of yourselves and be well.